So this is a mechanical breakdown of Matt Chapman's swing, and this is video from 2022. And when I'm breaking down swings of hitters, I break it down into 5 segments. I start with the setup, then I move on to the load, then I look at launch position, bat path, and contact position. So we're going to start with the setup, and Matt's got a fairly simple setup, and it's quiet, not a lot of pre-pitch movement. And when I'm looking at the setup, I'm looking for 3 main things. I'm looking at the feet, the posture, and the hands. So when we look at the feet, we'll see that Matt Chapman's feet are a little bit wider, a little bit wide. We'll see in another angle that they're about shoulder width apart, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and they're slightly open. So it's got a slightly open stance, not much of an open stance, but it's there a little bit. And his posture is fairly straight up. His chest is pretty far away from the plate, and he's got a slight bend in his knees, but not an over bend, just a slight one there. And then his hands are about head high, about head level, and back behind and above his back shoulder. So his hands are head level and above his back shoulder. So now we're going to move on to the load. So we'll go all the way to 17 here. And let's get there. So now we're at the load here. We're at the side view. So this is the best one I can get. So we're starting right about right here. That's where his load starts. So we're coming here. And as you can see, his hands will move downward and then backwards, while his front foot, his stride foot, moves forward. And he doesn't have an overly long stride. It's pretty short, and he doesn't have much of a leg kick. So he gets that foot down early, and he's really efficient when it comes to that. He's got a fairly, and overall his load is fairly short. So not a lot of movement, and it's efficient. So here we go. Hands are moving back while the front foot is moving forward, and that's creating a good little stretch there. That's what we want. We want the stretch. That'll help create some good torque. And he's got a successful weight transfer. So as you can see, he's transferring his weight right here from more of the back part of his body. So starting right here, successfully transferring it from that right foot to the lead foot right here. And then we're going to go with the next part is the launch position. So we get the foot down right here. That's about launch right there. When you get that, there we go. That's the launch position. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that entire the heel of that front foot down. And so now we're in launch right here. And he looks really good. So right here first thing we're going to look at the hip shoulder separation. So you got his front hip, which is slightly open, which is good. While the front shoulder remains closed. So we want, for a good hip shoulder separation, you want the hips to open up first, the front hip to open up first, and the front shoulder to open up shortly thereafter that, but you don't want them opening at the same time. He's got good balance. So if I were to draw his line, his center mass is evenly distributed. So if I were to draw a line from his head to his belly button all the way to the ground, it would be a straight line. And so he's looking really good right here. And another thing that I like to look at, another thing that I like to look at is how he gets short. He gets shorter as he loads. So we'll go back here to where he's kind of starting out. His load's starting, and he's a little bit taller. And then as he loads, as he strides, and gets in that launch position, he's low. He's low, and he'll remain low like that throughout the swing, and we're looking for that. So you can start up a little taller, but then you get low in your launch position, and then you stay low through the contact point. Now that we got the launch position, now we're looking at bat path. And when I look at bat path, we're looking at that back elbow. We want that back elbow to tuck in, because if that back elbow tucks in, the barrel will naturally get on plane. So right here we see a barrel is steep. It's entering the zone steep, which is good. We don't want it to enter the zone flat. We want it to enter the zone steep and get flat as we move our way through the zone. And it will do that with that back elbow. As long as that back elbow tucks in, we're doing good stuff right there. And another thing I want to look at is bat path is when we're about the center right here, right about right here. Let's go back to here. You get palm up, palm down. So the front hand, bottom hand is down, top hand is up. So palm up, palm down, palm up, and that barrel needs to stay at this point in the swing as the knob enters the zone. We want the barrel to stay above the hands or right in line with the hands. We don't want that barrel to dip below the hands until the barrel actually enters the zone. Once the barrel actually enters the zone right here, then you'll start to see it dip below the hands, and it will naturally dip below the hands, and that's what we're looking for. So right around there, the barrel starts to dip below the hands. So the bat path looks really good. And then we're going to look at the contact position when we're making contact with the ball. So we'll go back here. Right about right there. And if we'll look at his center of mass at contact. So look at the head. If I could draw a line straight all the way down here. Could have drawn a line all the way down there. So we go back here. I could draw a line all the way down from his head to his belly button, and all the way down to the ground. So his center of mass looks really good. You can see the triangle created by the arms. And so when at contact point, you don't want the arms fully extended because then you'll lose the force of the triceps. You want to keep the hands somewhat. You want to keep the arms somewhat bent. That way you can keep the triceps in the strength of the triceps into the swing. And he does a really good use of the back leg. So you got the triangle there with the arms, and then we're going to look at the back leg, specifically the back knee. So you see the back knee, and we want the back knee to kind of just rotate inward. So here we go. You can see just kind of rotates inward. He rotates that back knee down and inward. So he stays really strong on his back leg. Really good use of his back leg. And the last thing that I want to look at, which I think is super important, is his head movement. And you can have head movement before you get the launch position, you can have some head movement. But once you get the launch position, from launch position through contact point, that head should stay still. You should not see very much, if any, head movement. So you right there, let's go right here. Right here, launch position, we're going to watch that head as we move into contact. And it's not going to move. Boom. There we go. That's beautiful. And so those are very clean mechanics by Matt Chapman.